Well, good afternoon. Come on. Thank you. How many of you are farmers, active farmers? I have not even 10 hands up. Well, thank you. I am a farmer in Brazil and a banker. So I will address actually today my ideas, actually the ideas of Rabobank. We are cooperative. We exist more than 100 years. Fan, we already got through this midlife crisis you're going through, this talk about marriage and all those things, you know. But I will talk, we have a slide of Rabobank up there. This is our strategy. We as Rabobank are very committed to food and agri. And we have called it banking for food. Because we think that we have to look at things that are economically viable as an organization, but also socially important. Why banking for food? We all know we have to increase availability of food. But it's also economic opportunity. We're going from 1.6 hectares per inhabitant of the world in the 60s to 0.5 by 2050. As a bank that wants to finance farmers, it's a great opportunity. We have to increase innovation. We have to increase productivity on the farm. So that's good. So they will have to finance that, and we will be there to help them. Also, if we want to increase availability, we have to take care of the next generation, the young generation. We have to make sure that all those farms go over to the next generation. Yes, it's a challenge, but it's also good, because the handover also has to be financed, and we will be there to help them. But we also have to make sure that we reduce the risk as a bank by means of making this transition smoothless. I asked, because how many farmers were here, there were few farmers, so I cannot make this question. From the farmers that are here in this room, how many actually have an active succession plan? None. We have not thought about that, because we think farming is something you do until you die, but that's not the way it should be. The young generation has to be empowered very early. We made this question to 100 farmers that came to the Netherlands and asked them, what's the #1 issue you have to double production on your farm? And all of them said, how do I get the next generation there? So that's actually one of the biggest policy changes we should do. Today in the Netherlands, which is a modern developed country, we actually are seeing a doubling every 30 years of the amount of farmers above 65. And every day, 3 farms are stopping. The second part of what we really do as Rabobank is that we want to guarantee access. We already said we had a good presentation about China, but the real thing is that there's a huge opportunity for us as a bank to finance the trade flows. We know that there are countries that are going to produce. We know there are countries that are going to import. And these moves in the world have to be financed. Networks have to be used to connect the one that produces to the one that consumes. And that's what we will do, and that's what we are doing. The third part is balanced nutrition. It's economically viable to be a food and agri bank, but it's socially inviable to be in a world that we have hunger. So we will tackle that, and we hope that we all together can do that. But the only way of doing that is by really being conscious and have a coordinated approach by everybody. And that's my commitment. Education of young people, that they know what's nutritious food. I grew up at school, and the only nutritious food I could get out of the vending machine was actually chocolate. That's nutritious. I like it. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, we can produce, we can distribute, we can do it the right thing, but it has to be done every day, 3 times a day. It has to be done on a stable way. We have to enhance stability. And as a bank, the only stability we can do is to guarantee that there is financial inclusion and there is constant access to finance. But as a banker, standing here as a commercial banker, a cooperative banker, is that to finance any project, you need cash flows. Anything you do in the banking industry, you need a cash flow. And cash flow is not only having right prices. Cash flow is also having the right volumes, the right cost, having the money or the cash flow available at the right time. And that's what we try to do with what we call financial inclusion. We have invested heavily in many countries in Africa and Latin America to establish strong banks. We had a very nice presentation about Tanzania. 10 years ago, Rabobank invested in the NMB Bank in Tanzania. At that time, still a small bank. today the biggest bank or one of the biggest banks in Tanzania, and we have done it in many countries. We have to make sure that we can deliver the financial inclusion, but also the cash flow. So if I could say something to IFPRI is, the policy should be actually not only thinking about what we should produce, but how are we going to generate that cash flow that is going to increase wealth at the farm gate and at the same time produce the right food for the consumer. That's what really we should be thinking of. Because every farmer is an entrepreneur. Every farmer wants to have the best for their families. So the way I would like to end today is to say, please, join us, join together, join the global community so that we look at every value chain from the beginning to the end as a big cooperative, and that we share the income of that cooperative amongst all members. Not only one part of the supply chain, but the supply chain from the farmer, the value adding, the trading, and the consumer. I have still some time over, and the reason why I'm stopping so quick is because I would like to have Fan to come up here because I need a selfie. If you don't mind, please, so that we can together, please, so I can make a selfie, so I can share this, that we as Rabobank are partner of IFPRI in this great 40 years you are here. All right. By the way, I used to pay my money in Rabobank. Thank you.